Doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
She's the it girl, she can't control it, and she knows it. ACC Women's Basketball has it all. Passion, power, energy.
Sanaya Rivers, show me a little something.
A dog going deep one. It's good.
Kinley going to town. Oh, Jason Kelly.
She knows it. ACC Women's Basketball on ACC Network. Come for it all. She has it.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Where the heck did the weekend go?
It went quick, very quick.
Did you have a weekend?
I did not. Lots of working, lots of running around. I did get to watch football, though.
Lots of good football.
Indeed. You know, there's this meme floating around that says these 2-day weekends are starting to feel like 30-minute lunch breaks. And I couldn't agree more.
What's a lunch break?
Exactly.
Happy Monday.
Eat during the meeting.
Yeah, that's good. I hope everyone had a great weekend nonetheless. I'm ready for these freezing cold. The only good thing about when the temps get into the negative, degree, temps is that when you get your typical 30-degree days, it feels like a beautiful spring day out. It is a beautiful spring mid-January. We're past the mid-January points. But that's the only reason I like those freezing temps is because all of a sudden it makes the 20s and 30s. I went out and shoveled everything yesterday. It's 25 degrees out, and I'm like, it's beautiful outside. So there you go. It's the Kenner and Kev Show here on a Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I'm Justin Kenner. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, though?
All right, we got a lot to dive into today. Again, I realized something. I'm like, we wait so long to finally get to the football season, right? Like we can't wait to get to the football season. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, the football season's done. And although we still have quite a few football games remaining here in these playoffs, the Browns are done, the Bengals are done, the Buckeyes are done, although there's still plenty to talk about when it comes to those Ohio State Buckeyes, of course. I'm like, well, dang, it went about as fast as our 30-minute lunch break weekend. So nonetheless, but the playoffs, lots, it's interesting what I'm learning about with the Bengals being a part of the playoffs the last couple of years and the Browns being in the playoffs this year. And even though the Browns got knocked out early, the thing that's interesting about how all this is shaping up is the fact that Bengals fans are very active on social media. Browns fans are very active on social media. Everyone's chirping as if they're in the playoff or still in the playoff. And I'm like, everyone's just comparing their teams. Oh, our team would have cooked this team. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what is happening here? So at least it's more entertaining from that standpoint. I've yet to really see anyone get into draft debates. So there's that.
I'm in draft talk. I'm talking draft about my team, trying to figure out what we're going to do. But, you're right, man. It's a lot of chitter chatter about, hey, we would have beat them. They're not that good. Guess what? It's the NFL, man. These things are this big. The difference between teams are very, very small, man. A lot of these games can go either way. I mean, you think about with the Green Bay Packers, they needed the last week of the regular season to make it to the playoffs. They lost to the number one seed in their division by 3 points and had plenty of opportunities to win that game. You look at the Baltimore Ravens and they played the Texans with a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback, a rookie play caller. At halftime, is even at 10s. I mean, no need to talk about the game last night because we're going to dig deep into that. I mean, you look at the Lions and the Buccaneers game down to the wire. It's a razor edge in this league, man. That's why they make those casinos out there in Las Vegas, because we think oh, man, this team is the number one seed. They're going to blow them out. Of course, they're going to cover that 10 points. And it rarely ever happens.
No, we did. We talked on Friday about the playoff matchups, which one seed which one seed matchup had was more likely to end in a blowout? And it was the opposite. I said that I thought that the Texans had enough firepower to keep up with the Ravens. I didn't think that there'd be a blowout in that one. I thought that the blowout would come from the Niners over the Packers, and the Niners and Packers was a significantly better game and much closer game than the Texans and Ravens. It's not that that was a bad game. It's just the Ravens really didn't let Houston, once it was 10-10, there was no looking back as far as that goes. The Bucs and Lions game, for one, when you have two teams, which is weird, the Bucs have been in the playoffs for 3 straight years. They just won a Super Bowl a few years ago. They played in a Super Bowl. They played in multiple Super Bowls as of late through the Tom Brady era. But when you watch the Bucs and the Lions, I grew up, and those two teams were associated with losing. Outside of that, the John Gruden year and all that, where he, obviously going up against the Raiders in the playoffs and all that. Outside of that, the Bucs were always known as a losing franchise for me growing up. The Lions always known as a losing franchise for me growing up. So watching those two teams go at it in the playoffs, it was just kind of odd, but the storyline were there. Baker Mayfield, what's wild is, as we sit here today, all the question marks about him, no quarterback in the playoffs thus far has thrown for more yards or more touchdowns than Baker Mayfield. But we're not talking about the yards and the touchdowns. We're talking about the typical Baker play, the picks, the interception to close it all out. So the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Golden rule: don't throw late across the middle. I think he hasn't learned that yet. Jordan Love hasn't learned that. I mean, it's the critical mistake, man. It happens every single week, man. You throw late across the middle, the linebacker is going to get you. And it got Baker and it got Jordan Love.
Well, on top of that, too, I mean, I can't remember what the timeout situation was for the Bucs, but a lot of times when you have very little time to get down the field, you don't really want to throw into the middle of the field unless they are wide open.
Right.
So throw it away, run out of bounds, do something. But, that's me being 5'5" and fat, non-athletic, trying to tell someone how to play the quarterback position as far as that goes. But the Lions punched their ticket to the NFC Championship game. They got the Niners. The Niners barely escaped Jordan Love and the Packers. Deebo Samuel's 50-50 at this point, and when Deebo's out, they're not the same team. I mean, like we've seen that, the Bengals could lose Jamar Chase. They can still keep putting heavy points up. They could lose T. Higgins. They could still, as talented and explosive as that roster is offensively, they've lost, Christian McCaffrey for a bit. They kept on trucking. When they lose Deebo, he's obviously I don't think he gets enough credit for what he brings to the table. The Niners could be in trouble if they don't have him, because the Lions, they're the most consistent team. Really, they've had a couple of off weeks, but less off weeks than most. I think that the Lions have a much better shot at getting to the Super Bowl than I gave them cutting into these playoffs.
Yeah, man, you look at the San Francisco 49ers, they're the 1 seed, they're at home and all that type of stuff. We talked about it. We thought that they would be the team that blow somebody out this weekend, and they were down to the wire. I mean, they really ratcheted up things on defense in that second half against Jordan Love. I believe his stat was like the last 6 possessions of the game, he threw 2 interceptions, but the first 6 possessions of the game, he only had 2 incompletions. Like it was night and day basically about how they tighten things up. But San Francisco's situation or their problems aren't on the defensive side of the ball. It's on the offensive side of the ball. Like it's crazy to say this, man, but like without Deebo, like what are they? Like what are they? We know how great Christian McCaffrey is, but hey man, Christian McCaffrey, how much more do you want him to do? Like he's running the ball 20 times a game. He's catching the ball 6 times a game. Like everybody else has to get involved. Kittle's is very, 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 very good. But, when Brock Purdy's playing like that, playing loosey-goosey with the ball, and this isn't the first time he's played like this season. Like we can talk back about the Browns game where he was off or the defense got to him. We can talk about this game. We talk about the Ravens game. So there's so many games throughout this season where like, hey, man, he's coming up short. Ultimately, he came up big in the drive that they needed to take the lead. But like, hey, man, you play that way against the Lions and the Lions high power offense, they might get you.
And again, especially the Lions defense, they let you move the ball on them, but they're a bend don't break type of defense. And I mean, they let the Bucs move the ball on them a lot. I mean, like I said, Baker threw for 340 plus yards on them, but when the defense needed to step up the most, they went and made that big play. So we'll see what ends up happening. But yes, everyone talk about that the Ravens and the Niners in the Super Bowl, because the conspiracy theory with the color schemes of the Super Bowl logo and all this, that I guess the color scheme of the Super Bowl logos have matched the 2 teams that have made the Super Bowl the last couple of years. I don't know what next year's looks like, but we'll see. We'll see when it's all said and done. We're live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, by the way. And Steve Stetler says, McCaffrey has a questionable quad as well, so that could play a role as far as that's concerned. Let's see. What up, Nagi? Nagi says 14 and 45. What is that referring to, Nagi? I'm just curious. Respond with that unless I missed something in the chat as far as what you guys are talking about. Ryan Roth talked about the field goal kickers. He said field goal kickers had a negative impact for Packers and Bills. However, as Romo pointed out, Josh Allen had back-to-back misreads on their last 2 plays from scrimmage. Just take the checkdowns, move the sticks, and keep the clock running. But Allen got greedy. We'll get to that matchup coming up here.
Yeah, that deserves its own segment to itself.
And it will. It will. Let's see. Steve also says, I think the Lions have a legit shot. Just don't bet the house. Look, I ain't betting anything. I've gotten every pick outside of I can't. I've only got one pick right this entire playoff. Like,
really?
So, yeah, I'm not. I haven't made one bet. Just not feeling it. I had that week where I won a couple $100 a little bit ago, and then I was like riding high, and then I lost the next couple weekends. I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this. So. Is what it is. Oh, that's it. Yeah, I should have known. Browns Texans score. No, you go back to work, dude. I think our signal's cutting out, right? There's no way you get our signal all the way over there. So Shaw said he went 3-1 last weekend. All right. So as far as the NFC is concerned, yes, the Lions, Niners, that's the NFC Championship matchup, and that's about what we thought heading into these playoffs. Maybe not the season. We thought it would be Eagles and Niners at this point, but the Lions have a legitimate shot. On the AFC side, the Ravens take care of, obviously, C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. Surprised at that result because, by the way, C.J. Stroud threw for more yards than Lamar Jackson, and if you look at 146 or whatever, 156, whatever the total thrown yards was, and I'm like, okay, I could see why the Texans lost, but Lamar threw for less than that. But his total yardage, of course, the 4 touchdowns, all that stuff. Lamar, just a typical Lamar game. It's not sexy. It's not aesthetically pleasing, but we've always said, hey, that gets it done in the regular season, but you're not going to do that in the playoffs. Well, he's 1 game away from getting to his first Super Bowl. We'll see if he can get it done in this championship game coming up against the Chiefs. But your thoughts on the Texans game? I'll
start with the Texans. 11 penalties. And kind of what I thought what would happen to them happened to them. Their first game they played in the playoffs was at home. Everything's comfortable. You're in your environment. You sleep in your own bed, all those cliche things. I thought that them being on the road with that young roster, young quarterback, everybody's young. Offensively, they got shut down. They shut down the run game completely. They didn't run the ball at all. 14 carries for 38 yards, completely shut down the run game. So then now you're relying on C.J. Stroud to drop back and pass the ball. He quote unquote only threw for $175, but he was under duress the entire time. He didn't get sacked at all, but like looking at his jersey, didn't look like he didn't get sacked. He was harassed all day long. And the great thing that the Texans did was like they dialed up the blitz, something that they don't do. They really don't blitz. So they were blitzing left and right. Like, so had Lamar like, hey, this wasn't the game plan that we studied all week for. Why are they blitzing me? They're supposed to just rush 4. I'm supposed to sit back here and throw dimes. So what do they do? Like, all right, well, guess what, Lamar? You're going to have to start running because when they blitz and you just run right past them, first down. And that's exactly what they did in the second half. So you want to give kudos to the Ravens staff for making those adjustments. And, he throws 16 to 22, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, then another 100 yards on the ground with 2 more touchdowns. It was kind of what I thought was going to happen because the Ravens defense is just like a vice grip, man. They just keep tightening and tightening and tightening. I mean, to think about that, the Texans offensively scored 3 points, or just overall, they scored 10 points, and it was all from their special teams from how the Texans played the previous week, putting up 31 points offensively on the Cleveland Browns. I think that road environment and, the Ravens got that lockdown defense, man. I think it's going to be an outstanding AFC Championship game.
Yeah, and I just thought about this too because Houston lost to the Ravens back in week 1. They just lost to the Ravens in the playoffs. C.J. Stroud, would it kill you to beat a Harbaugh just once? Just once?
Hey.
Just once?
Hey.
Would it just, come on now. The Harbaughs have not been nice to old C.J. Stroud, whether it be khaki pants or Ravens head coach.
Yeah, man.
Nonetheless, talked about the other game. You said that matchup deserved a whole segment in itself, and it does. The greatest rivalry since Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Is there anything there to that? Is there substance to that? We'll talk about that when we come back. Plus, just a heck of a game and a typical finish for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, and a typical landing spot where the Chiefs ended up. So we'll talk about that when we come back. We got some college basketball stuff around the corner. The Flyers, like the Jeffersons, they keep moving on up in the rankings. They had a big win. Hurry up, get it out of the way.
Boo! I was almost right. Yeah. They almost scored 100.
Well, the PA announcer had to do it real quick. He just kind of sped through it. Former Dayton Flyers coach Archie Miller.
Boo!
On to the next one. But we got college basketball stuff around the corner. Wright State had a couple home games last week. Didn't go well Thursday. They got a big one on Saturday. We got the coaches show. Oh my gosh, yes, a great environment too. A lot of good college basketball in Dayton on Saturday. The big home game for Archie's return for the Flyers. And then Wright State got the big win that night against Milwaukee. Great environment there. But yes, we got women's college basketball. Ohio State got a big upset, but it was what happened after the game that has more people talking than what happened during the game. I think we got it all, right? I think that checks off everything. Keith Byars is going to stop in studio and hang out with us here in a bit. So we have all
checks all the boxes
coming up. It's the Kenner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Boo!
Probably.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Forecast has the winter weather advisory for tonight, starting at 8 until noon tomorrow. Rain and freezing rain at 32 tonight. Freezing rain and rain tomorrow with patchy fog and 41. Rain and fog and 52 on Wednesday. I'm Rick Shrimp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Get deals on what you need during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Right now, save $250 when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch sliding miter saw and adjustable stand together. Plus, save $710 on an LG kitchen suite and earn 3 times the bonus points on all LG appliances. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Bonus points calculated before tax and fees after applicable discounts of any. Valid 1/15 to 1/26. Subject to change.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Get deals on what you need during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Right now, save $250 when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch sliding miter saw and adjustable stand together. Plus, save $710 on an LG kitchen suite and earn 3 times the bonus points on all LG appliances. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Bonus points calculated before tax and fees after applicable discounts of any. Valid 1/15 to 1/26. Subject to change.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Don't go another year compromising because of that pain in your knees or shoulder. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. And QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The future of pain treatment has arrived, and QC has tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. This is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again. Get your life back. And listen, it's non-surgical. If this is the year you decide to fight back against that pain, take the first step now. Call QC Kinetics. Get a free consultation on your calendar today. Call 937-936-0325. 936-0325.
I'm Terry Krupp of Laird's Tax and Accounting, serving this area's tax and accounting needs for over 80 years. Tax season is here. We invite you to discover how we can make your tax filing experience easier. Our professional staff assures your return is accurate with maximum use of legitimate deductions. Since our founding, we have been trusted because of our knowledge of the tax code and for standing behind your return if the IRS calls. Contact us at 937-325-6571. Information at lairdstax.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Discover wants everyone to feel special with live 24/7 customer service. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
Damn technology.
Yeah, man.
It's undefeated.
The best.
It's undefeated. It's like Patrick Mahomes against Josh Allen in the postseason, man. Woo.
Oh, man.
Missed opportunity. It was weird today with all the great games. Josh Allen loses, and he was talked about more on all the programming I watched and heard today than Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and all that. But, but fans are never happy because if you're talking about Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and, obviously Taylor Swift, and that's all you guys ever talk about, people are never happy as far as that's concerned. But interesting AFC divisional round game between the Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, before we get into the debate about the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning thing, just your overall takeaway of that game, because the Bills outplayed the Chiefs and still end up losing at home. The Chiefs they do have that Patriots vibe where even when they're not playing better, they still find ways to win football games.
It was right there for the taking. It was right there for the taking for the Bills. I mean, you look at that first half, they held the Chiefs to 2 field goals inside the 10-yard line or inside the 20-yard line. So, those are victories when you hold a team out the end zone and they're forced to kick field goals. And you think about them going for the fake punt. I don't have a problem with that. I know a lot of people do. I don't have a problem with that. A fake punt is supposed to fool you. It didn't fool the Kansas City Chiefs. But they get a repass because Andy Reid decides to do ended around with Mecole Hardman. And Mecole Hardman hasn't made a play since he was a freshman at Georgia. Can anybody think of a positive play he's made since his freshman year at Georgia?
He's fast.
That's the last time in the national championship game where they lost to Bama. That's the last time I can think of him making a big time play. Haven't seen him make a big time play in the NFL. That's why they let him go. That's why they let him go initially. Remember, he didn't start the year with them. So Mecole Hardman gets the ball, fumbles it out the end zone, touchback. So you get a repass for the failed attempt on the fake punt. And you're missing dudes, man. You're missing guys on the check downs, on the crossing routes. That's going to happen. Quarterbacks aren't perfect. You're not going to make every read every single time. They're not going to make every single throw. But there's one particular play that I go back to is when he throws a complete dime from his 10 down to the other 20. And Stephon Diggs drops the ball. That just can't happen. That just cannot happen, dude. Your playmakers are supposed to make plays. As much as we love Stephon Diggs and he's a playmaker, as much as he complains about not getting the ball enough, when you had your opportunity to have your moment right through your hands, it looked like I was out there trying to catch that ball. That was unacceptable. More passes that were dropped, more overthrows. And then it comes down to the kicker. And everybody's wrecking the kicker because, oh, man, you got one job. You got one job. That's all you do is kick the ball. Da, 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 da. Yeah, he's got one job. It's his fault, too. But it's also Stephon Diggs' fault. It's also Josh Allen's fault. It's a lot of people's fault. It's not solely the kicker's fault. It's a team loss. The team lost that game in every facet imaginable because it was right there for the taking.
Yeah, and obviously Josh Allen from a total yard standpoint won the most impressive game, but that's also one of the best defenses in the NFL, the number 3 defense in the NFL going up against the Chiefs. Now, you do have them at your place, right? But look, and people making a big deal about the checkdowns and stuff and this, and the bottom line is what makes Josh Allen, and what makes the Bills offense, it's not checkdowns. It's those big plays down the field, and that's what got them through the regular season. And Josh Allen missed some throws, yes, but at the same time, he made more good throws than bad. And the receivers in those clutch moments of games, like that's what it comes down to. And look, for instance, Jamar Chase drives me nuts. He talk, but he freaking backs it up. And that's what pisses me off even more as a fan of a team that's a rival of theirs, right? Stephon Diggs talks a lot, and he comes up short in a lot of these big moments. He's not the same Stephon Diggs he was 2 years ago. I think I see here, where to go. Matthew, what up, Matthew? He says, Buffalo wide receivers drop passes like crazy. Diggs wasn't the same guy this year. If you remember the drama against the Bengals in the divisional round of the playoffs last year, it was him storming off the field before the game was even done, not talking to the media and stuff. And he was yelling at Josh Allen on the sideline. There clearly is some kind of, issues behind the scenes that, although they might have kind of resolved some of them, it kind of carries over into this season. The Bills need to make some changes this offseason. I think it starts with Stephon Diggs. I think if you could ship him out of there and just kind of reset with the playmakers a little bit, I think it doesn't hurt a lot of teams to do that. I think it could be good for Stephon Diggs. It could be good for Josh Allen, and ultimately it could be good for the Bills. You got to move on from the head coach too, bring Bill Belichick in there, give him Josh Allen, boom, whole new talking point later. The other side of it too is yes, I mean, the receivers, so many big. I mean, I watched the Browns, who led the NFL in drop passes this year. They played a team who was second in the league in drop passes this year in the Kansas City Chiefs. So, yes, I'm no stranger to watching games where the receivers drop wide open passes half the time. But in those clutch moments, you have to pull those in. And to the Chiefs' credit, being second in the league in drop passes, they caught the ones that they needed. They made just enough plays to do it. Obviously, they're no stranger to this. Every single season that Patrick Mahomes has been here, except year one, losing in the divisional round against Tom Brady's Patriots, he's been in the AFC Championship game. Guy's unreal. This is a dynasty, and they're one game away from getting back to a Super Bowl. Now they have an MVP in their way in Lamar Jackson, but your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the Kansas City Chiefs? You talked about Hardman a little bit ago, but they're back in the AFC title game for the 5th straight season.
Credit completely goes to that defense and that offensive line. The offensive line most of the year has been mid at best, but they were opening up holes. They were running the ball hard with Pacheco. Even Clyde Helaire got involved in the run game. They could have won that game by double digits if they would have gave it back to Pacheco or gave it to Helaire instead of trying to do the razzle dazzle with Mecole Hardman. They could have been up double digits, and that could have been all she wrote. But ultimately they didn't, but ultimately they hung on to the victory. Obviously, Kelce is the big name here. And I was having this conversation with DJ Killer Kev, and he was like, man, who you think gonna win? Yada, yada, yada. I was like, big game from Kelce. He's like, you just saying that because he went to your high school. I was like, no, big game from Kelce. Big game from Kelce. And he did. 5 for 75 and 2 tutties. But the person that deserves so much credit, because Patrick Mahomes, he gets a ton of credit, a ton of love, because he is that dude. He is that dude. MVS, stone hands. He was stone hands all season long. But when he had his opportunities to make plays in this game, got targeted twice, caught both balls, deep passes for 30-plus yards, both of them, put them in position to score touchdowns. So MVS isn't Stephon Diggs, but guess what? He made the plays that Stephon Diggs did not make. Like, these weren't like wide open passes that he's been dropping all season. These are contested passes that he had to yank away from DBs. So he deserves a ton of credit. Mahomes deserves a ton of credit for still having confidence in him to throw them the ball to make those plays. So without those plays from MVS, they're not in this position. If they don't run the ball like they did, they're not in this position to win this football game. So a ton of credit to the offensive line and MVS from the Chiefs.
Obviously, the big talking point of this game coming in, I mean, they just punched you in the mouth with it the second that the game coverage even began. The greatest rivalry since Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. I don't know how much you pay attention to the back and forth between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but do you get that same vibe from these two as far as, and to be fair, they're saying is this potentially the greatest quarterback rivalry since those two? And there's enough stats to back this up, yes, but do you get those same vibes with these two go head to head?
So first, no, I don't get involved with the whole, this is the biggest rivalry, because I watch the game. I like the game for the game, but I know I'm in the minority in that situation. Like some people need like selling points. I mean, Taylor Swift is a selling point. She's driving more eyeballs to the television. That's why they cut to her so much. She's the biggest pop star in the world. They got the storyline with Kelsey and her dating. Great. They got Big Kelsey at the game, being a maniac, taking his shirt off, representing for his brother. Those are all like to get eyeballs on the screen, which is perfectly fine. I'm here for it as well. As far as their rivalry, I mean, it's hard to ignore. I mean, one guy has the jewelry, one guy doesn't. One dude constantly loses to the other guy, one doesn't. That was the same thing that was brought up with Peyton Manning as it was with Tom Brady. So you look at these two guys, they all do have a parallel type of situation. That was a generation ago. It may be like, I can't really think of two quarterbacks that have met this many times and have delivered great games. I mean, we talk about this game. Shoot, the regular season game was just as good.
Every single one of them. I mean, it's really what it comes down to. Now, I thought Patrick Mahomes owned Josh Allen throughout their entire careers. He owns him in the playoffs. There's a parallel between the Tom Brady and the Peyton Manning thing too, because I was looking this up. So Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, the regular season, Tom Brady dominated Peyton Manning in the regular season, 9-3 against Peyton Manning in the regular season. I didn't realize this. I thought it was dominated by Tom Brady, but Peyton Manning 3-2 against Tom Brady in the postseason.
Shout out to those Bronco years.
Yes. It was a come from behind victory, but a come from behind win nonetheless. Now, with that being said, you look at the Josh Allen and the Patrick Mahomes thing, it's kind of the opposite. Josh Allen dominates Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. He's 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, but he's 0-4 or 0-3 or whatever it is against Patrick Mahomes in the postseason. Now, I bring this up. So I do think it's the best quarterback rivalry in the league since then. I think that I think Lamar's going to be close to getting there. I think Joe Burrow's close to being put into that mix. The bottom line is we're spoiled with how many great quarterbacks there are in the NFL right now. And the reason that these two, though, matter, people keep bringing up, well, Josh Allen, all he does is lose. Listen, the Bills, all they do is lose. It's not as if Josh Allen has been poor. Look, Josh Allen throws a lot of interceptions, a ton of interceptions. Doesn't in the playoffs. He's played in.
That fumble almost got him, boy. I know you're going somewhere, but let me ask you this real quick.
I've never interrupted you, though, so keep that in mind.
if that fumble that he had gets scooped and scored the other way, like, man, would you rather be in this position that they lost this game, or would you rather be in a position, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, like Josh Allen, the fumble, and they scoop and score and basically ice the game? Which position would you rather be in if you was the Buffalo Bills fan?
I mean, it kind of puts you out of your misery a little bit earlier. But I
think to the car a little bit earlier.
But I still think yesterday's game, I mean, the result is what's going to hurt Josh Allen, but he's not bad at all. His postseason numbers, average per game, yards, touchdowns, his touchdown to interception ratio, it's night and day different from the regular season. I mean, he doesn't turn the ball over in the postseason. I mean, 4 times in 11 or 10 games. He's played 10 games in the postseason. He's turned the ball over 4 times. Now, you still want that number to be lower, but when you talk about a guy that turns it over pretty much every damn game in the regular season, going up against better teams, I think that that's key. I think that this is, and here's why. I saw Bengals fans do this on social media. Now, again, I know how social media works. It's an algorithm, so it's a silo. It's going to be. Those are the tweets I'm going to see. I don't follow Zim or Goodberry or these guys on social media. But you see
them tweets.
But I see them, and it drives me nuts. Everyone tries to do this. Oh, well, you follow them. I'm like, no, I don't. I hate that their stuff pops up, and I'm an emotional, reactionary person, and that's what I'm going to do. But I didn't react on social media. I stayed off the old social media over the weekend. I did when I saw that they were highlighting the greatest quarterback rivalry in the NFL. I was like, oh, I know this is going to trigger a certain fan base, and sure enough, it did. Joe Burrow, keep in mind, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, they've been around a minute. They've been around for a while. They've been in the league, 6 years now? And Patrick Mahomes has never missed the playoffs. Josh Allen has never missed the playoffs. These two run into each other every year in the playoffs. That's all these two do is go up against one another. That's why it's that way. But how soon we forget, Bengals fans say, the last 2 years, classics between Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. You're right. Joe Burrow is actually 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has 2 Super Bowls. He's a game away from getting back to his 4th Super Bowl and having a chance to win his 3rd. Him and Josh Allen play every year. Josh Allen and him, their teams make the playoffs every year. Joe Burrow has missed the playoffs 50% of the seasons that he's participated in with the Bengals. But to his credit, he's only been in the league 4 years. If we're talking about this 4 or 5 years from now and they're still playing, yes, you have an argument. But they want to sit at the adult table so badly that they're just ignoring straight common sense and facts, Kev. You could say I'm stirring the pot, maybe, but I don't think I am because I did my homework. You see this? I got this laptop now, and I'm just coming in prepared with right hook, left hook, and uppercut. But even Lamar Jackson deserves to be at that table more so than Joe Burrow. But Lamar Jackson doesn't play Patrick Mahomes. This is the first time that they've met each other in the postseason. So this is an opportunity there. A lot on the line, a Super Bowl on the line, of course, a 2-time MVP in Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow's not there yet and being involved in the greatest quarterback rivalry. Those games are very good, though. Every one of those games, just like the Bills, comes down to that final possession. The bottom line is it's okay. You don't have to get credit for everything. Joe Burrow is still an elite level quarterback. Was the number 2. If Lamar wins his 2nd MVP in the Super Bowl, he's moving up to number 2. And Josh Allen statistically in the playoffs, as good as anybody else. All the damn quarterbacks in the NFL, we are spoiled with how many good ones there are, especially in the AFC.
Yeah, it's a lot of ballers out there. For the Bengals fans, matter of fact, for the Bengals fans, the Browns fans, Steelers fans, I got nothing for us. We're not playing. I got nothing for you. You want to argue about our guy this, our guy that. I want to argue about our coach this, our coach that. We're not playing. I only want to talk about the teams that are in the games, man. We're getting ready for the draft, so I got nothing for them.
Yes, and let's see. Ryan Roth. That's the wrong one. Where did you go? Mark Smith. 2 years Burrow didn't finish the season. Goofball. But that's the problem. You guys act like that's not a big deal. That's the problem. My point is Josh Allen, he's a physical football player. He doesn't miss games. And also keep in mind, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, they've played in 40 more games than Joe Burrow has. That's you guys are trying to fast forward something. You've had 2 good seasons in 4 years, and you're sitting here trying to just force feed us a guy that can't stay healthy on the field for more than 2 of the 4 seasons he's been in. To me, halfway on this, Joe Burrow, if he is healthy, he's better than Josh Allen. He's better than Lamar Jackson, but he can't stay healthy. Now, to be fair, Lamar, that was kind of the narrative about him the last 2 years as he was having the battles with his front office for his contract negotiation. So, but look, he got paid. He's mentally locked in. He's physically locked in, and he's a game away from a Super Bowl and about to be a 2-time MVP. So there's enough accolades to go around, but you're not there yet, Bengals fans, but that's okay. It's really not that big a deal. It is what it is. But here's the problem. They're, in my opinion, not stirring the pot, being serious here. I do feel the Bengals fans take so much pride in their quarterback, the way every team does. I wish I could take that same pride with my quarterback.
Me too.
But you know what?
I used to.
Joe Flacco, baby.
I used to. Used to have a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I feel like they are feeling they're feeling the pressure of quarterbacks surpassing Joe Burrow, which is weird to me. Who cares? Saying that, Josh Allen is better than Joe Burrow, that's not saying Joe Burrow is bad. Saying Lamar Jackson, who about to be a 2-time MVP, is better than Joe Burrow, that's also okay. It's a 2-time MVP. We're not saying Baker Mayfield's better than Joe Burrow. I'm not saying Jared Goff is better than Joe Burrow. So stop getting your feelings hurt. That's the crazy thing. But I also started looking at some stuff today. There is really not a lot of Super Bowl experienced quarterbacks in the NFL. There's a lot of quarterbacks who have lost Super Bowls. How many active starting quarterbacks in the NFL do you think have won a Super Bowl? And active and starting, by the way.
Starting, obviously, Mahomes.
There's 3 in the AFC and only 1 in the NFC. That is a wild number. 4.
Oh, Flacco.
No, he's technically, I didn't put him in there because he's not a starter, but yeah, and he's technically not on a team right now, but yeah. So Aaron Rodgers from the Jets.
Yeah. Is he active?
Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes. Only 3 quarterbacks in the AFC have won a Super Bowl. Only 1 in the NFC, and that's Matthew Stafford.
Right.
That is wild to me. That's how young the NFL still is and inexperienced as far as championships are concerned. Legacies are still being ironed out.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's only 4 years in the league. He's already played in a Super Bowl. Lamar hasn't. Josh Allen hasn't. Josh Allen is superior statistically and physically wise, able to stay, durability wise, able to stay on the field. Lamar has more MVPs and all this, but Lamar, I think, would trade in the MVPs to play in the Super Bowl and have a chance to win one. Josh Allen would give up, I think he'd give up a few games if it meant getting to play in one Super Bowl. There's things Josh Allen has done that Lamar hasn't. There's things that Lamar has done that Josh Allen hasn't. There's things that Joe Burrow has done that the other two haven't. So let's just everyone relax. These quarterbacks are still pretty damn young around the league, but that's wild to me that the NFC, we're going to see. I mean, unless Patrick Mahomes wins another one this season, we're about to see a quarterback win their first Super Bowl, which there's a lot of QBs that need to win their first one coming up. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The pressure is on everybody. I mean, I know we're going to do this later in the week. Who's under the most pressure quarterback-wise? Who's under the most pressure organization-wise? Who's under the most pressure coach-wise? Look, man, when you get to this point of the season, when you're down to the Final Four, this ain't college basketball or March Madness where, oh, man, making it to the Final Four is a victory all into itself. No, that's not how it works in football. In football, it's a win it all or your season's a bust type of situation, because we had this conversation about that in the college football Final Four. Yeah. No, you got to win it. Just making it doesn't matter unless you're UC. That's the only team that I can ever think of that just making it was a victory all unto itself. If you make it this far, you want to win it all.
Yeah, I think they all want to win it. I think the only team that if they lose, you're like, I mean, it's the Chiefs. I only say this because I'm like, I looked at the Patrick Mahomes. He's played for 6 years. He's technically played for 7. He's embarking on that like LeBron type numbers where he's played an entire extra season's worth of games and postseason games, right? But, obviously I think they're the most vulnerable of all of them, but I didn't think that they would get to this AFC Championship game with as bad as they've been offensively, especially the final month and some change heading into the postseason. But again, we're so used to talking about their offense, we forget about how good they are defensively. But yeah, I don't know. You're right. At this point, all 4 of these, it's a disappointment if they don't. I think the Lions, it's a missed opportunity if you can't take care of a Niners team who, has they have the worst quarterback left in the playoffs. Debo's not healthy. Christian McCaffrey's not healthy. And you're the Lions, the hottest football team out there right now, storyline wise. So we'll see. And Lamar Jackson, to go through Patrick Mahomes to do, that's what made what Joe Burrow did so special that season when the Bengals made the Super Bowl. If they were able to cap that off with the Super Bowl win, I took shots at them and said you had to get through the Raiders with no quarterback. You had to get through the Titans with Tannehill. Well, you had to go to Arrowhead and beat Patrick Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl. So, that's what Lamar has an opportunity to do now, except they're hosting.
Yeah. So. I mean, they earned the right to be the number 1 seed, so you get them at your place. You got to do something that the Buffalo Bills were unable to do. They got the home field advantage and they weren't able to capitalize on that. So the Baltimore Ravens have to do that in order to make it to the Super Bowl. And I mean, shoot, you look at the quarterbacks that are left, removing Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff is the only one that's played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He has the Super Bowl experience. I know it's very early. It's only Monday, man, but I'm leaning towards the Lions, man.
It's a Kinner and Kev show here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll step away for a few minutes. Think of this during the break. You're thinking of this during the break, all right? Which would you rather be? Which is worse? Fan bases who never experience playoffs or wins consistently, or fan bases who experience the playoffs every year but constantly come up short? Because I'm here to tell you, for some of you who think, oh, no, I don't feel bad for the teams that make the playoffs, I still sometimes think the pain of those who come so damn close and come up short, that's a whole other level of pain that's different than, I never get to see my team. You can't feel a pain you've never experienced before. So let's talk about that. Would you rather be a fan of a team that always lets you down, that never wins consistently, that rarely makes the playoffs, or the team that makes the playoffs every year but always comes up short? Think about that during the break. Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. Leave your comments in there. We'll respond to those. Even 514-1410. You could text into the show as well. We'll be right back. Hungry for a great time? Maybe some great food? Then come on down to your neighborhood Submarine House. Try our oven-toasted deli subs, our mouth-watering salads, pizzas, appetizers, and more. And wash them down with a unique selection of craft beers while watching the big game on our big screens. With locations around Dayton, in Columbus, and our newest sports bar in Kettering, you're never far from a Submarine House. Subs, sports, spirits, Submarine House.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
By now, you should know Audio Etc. has all the same sales and deals on TVs and projectors as everyone else. But did you know we also have some of the world's best hi-fi? Hi, this is Kirby from Audio Etc. And we do have some of the best home theater, high-fidelity gear on the planet. Not only do we have your favorite brands like Clip speakers and SVS subwoofers, but audiophile greats from Byars & Wilkins, Kev, NAD, Marantz, Cambridge, Mark Levinson, and plenty of vinyl and tube gear. Plus exotics you only see in the magazines. Stop by today and visit Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom and see and audition the best audio and video it has to offer. While you're in, check out our huge selection of pre-owned vintage gear. A great way to afford great gear otherwise out of reach, or revisit old classics. Audio Etc. Sound advice you can trust. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon in Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc. Crazy cool showroom.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Of course, you can also text that same number, 518-1410, 518-1410. Text your interactions with the show there, and we'll interact with you there. All right, so I threw this question out to everyone right before the break, Kevin. I'm curious your thoughts on this, because there's a lot of different types of teams out there. Like, as a Browns fan, who my team rarely, I thought about this, the Bills make the playoffs pretty much every damn year.
Mm-hmm.
Kinner and Kev with you here, 1410 ESPN Radio. Having to reset this real quick. But again, the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Justin Kinner and Kev Nash with you here. I threw this question out before the break. And I'm thinking, as a Browns fan, who it's such a big deal when my team makes the playoffs, because they don't do it consistently. And, if they get to the playoffs and win, that's just a cherry on top. It feels so cool that they get there, right? They haven't done what the Bengals did where, okay, that first year they made the playoffs. Great, we made the playoffs. Okay, then they beat the Raiders. All right, well, if we lose to the Titans, no big deal. We at least made the playoffs. We ended our 30-plus year playoff winning drought and all that stuff. Okay, they make the playoffs. They beat the Raiders. Then they go on to beat the Titans. Well, we're here. Why not us? We might as well keep doing it. And then they follow it up with the second straight year, the run to the AFC Championship game. Now their chest is out. Now the bass in their voice is deeper. Now they're confident.
Like
and
these mics.
now they're looking down at all the little people, and they were just a little person themselves not even 2 years ago. So I say this because it is interesting. As a Browns fan, I sit back and I look at the Bills, and I'm like, oh, boo-hoo. I wish I had your problems. I made the playoffs 5 straight years. And we just can't seem to win the big one. I wish for those problems. Everyone has, if you think your life is bad, there's someone always that has it worse than you, right?
Indeed.
And so from a sports perspective, that's where I'm at. So I threw it out there. Which is worse? As far as what fan base you'd be a part of? Fan bases who never experience playoffs or consistent winning, or fan bases who experience the playoffs every year, but they always come up short? Is it tougher to be a Bills fan? Is it tougher to be a Bills fan where every year you feel like it's your year? Every year, you have the quarterback, you have the defense, you have the offense, and you just can't get it done. We're talking 5 straight years, 6 straight years. Or is it tougher being a Browns fan where you're just happy if you're competing, winning 9 to 10 games? If you make the playoffs, that's awesome, but you don't know when it's going to happen again. Which is worse, Kev?
Making it to the playoffs or making it a run in the playoffs and coming up short. Absolutely, because you're basically teased with the opportunity of doing it. Like, you got all these players. So like in the Bills situation, like, okay, you go through the years of the Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas years, you make it to the Super Bowl 4 straight years, and you lose all of those years. Those players ultimately start to get older, they retire, they go away and everything like that. So then you go into this downward spiral. You got, you know who playing quarterback, me and you, Bob from down the street, everybody playing quarterback. So you stink, but then you start to come back. You get Tyrod Taylor, a decent quarterback. Then you draft this young rookie, and hey, man, this guy looks like he might be the stuff. All right, Josh Allen, he starts to develop, he gets better. Then, all right, man, you go ahead and get him a weapon, and then he takes off. He takes off, and like, oh, we're back. We're gonna do what Jim Kelly and the guys couldn't do. But you just keep getting punched. You can't even do what Jim Kelly and the guys did. You can't make it back to the big game. So I think that's worse because you have that sense of hope. When you're a team that's an also then or just a never was, you go into the season, you watch it just to watch because you're a fan of the team. You don't have those high expectations for your team. Like some of the fans' faces yesterday when that field goal went wide right, like they started tearing up. They started crying. I mean, I kind of felt bad for those people. I think it's like the inverse of what happens when the Cowboys lose. People laugh at those people. But when the Buffalo Bills fans lose, it's like, dang, again? Dang, man, we feel bad for y'all. So I think making it and having a real good team and not being able to get over the hump hurts way worse than being the team that 5-11 again or 5-12. Okay, on to the Ohio State season.
Yeah, I think when you're a team that doesn't win consistently, it's a slow burn. It's not an intense pain. When you get to the playoffs and your expectations are so high, it's full flame. It's full. The pain, it goes from 0 to 10 real quick. Because look, if the Cincinnati Bengals, how crushing it. I mean, the motion on social media when the penalty that led to the Chiefs getting to the Super Bowl last year, to the offensive line, that's what you guys invested in last year, and that being what led to getting sacked 7-8 times or whatever it was last year in the AFC Championship game. Like that pain was intensified because of the level of where you guys were at. Look at this year. You guys were ticked. It sucked that Joe Burrow got hurt in the preseason. That stunk, all that stuff. But like, you guys kind of accepted your fate by the end of the season. In the playoffs, when you're expecting to play the next week, like the Bills were, this is our chance. This is the most vulnerable Chiefs team. Man, like they are feeling it today. They are feeling it. My team's out of the playoffs. Your team's out of the playoffs. The Bengals didn't even make the playoffs. So those fans, like you can combine all of our pain of our teams being knocked out of the playoffs or not making it. We're still not feeling the pain of the Bills today. I think when you get that close every single time, that pain is way worse than suffering from your team not making the postseason.
And think about what the Bills fans have been through this season. Like they started out the season with Josh Allen throwing the ball all over the place and throwing interceptions. They fire their offensive coordinator. He's used as a scapegoat because of the field goal situation. So then they go ahead and blow out the Jets just like a whole bunch of other teams did. And then they lose a heartbreaker in overtime to the Philadelphia Eagles back when Philly was good. But then they go to Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. They beat them. And then they go on to beat the Cowboys on Monday Night Football and blow them out. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Patriots. They beat the Dolphins and ultimately win the AFC East. So like, okay, now we're going to get the games at our place. We're not the 1 seed, but we're going to get the games at our place. They take care of business versus Steelers. And now they have the Chiefs. They have the Chiefs right where they want them. They got them in their building. We're not traveling. We're sleeping in our own beds. Taylor Swift's coming to our house. We're going to make it rowdy. We're going to be Bills Mafia. We're going to do all those crazy things and make the environment crazy. We're going to throw snowballs at players as they're trying to catch passes in the end zone. I haven't forgot about that. And they still don't get it done. It's not the fans' fault. The fans showed up. The fans showed up and showed out. Fans were fanning. Fans were fanning to the max this weekend. And the team ultimately let them down. Not only offensively, but special teams wise, defensively wise. I mean, you think about Kelsey's first touchdown, but naked wide open, blown coverage. Defense, that's on you. Yeah, you can't let a Hall of Fame player get wide open. Like, come on, like make him make a great play. Make the Hall of Famer be a Hall of Famer. Make the great player do a great thing. They didn't even do that. Wide open. Like, okay, your coach goes for a questionable fake punt. It doesn't work out. Your defense fights hard, gets the ball back to your offense. Your superstar quarterback misses wide open dudes. Got a guy hitting on the slant, misses them. Then your superstar wide receiver lets the ball go straight through his hands. Then your field goal kicker goes wide right. Like, every aspect of that game, they let you down. So I think being in a position to knock off your rival, to make it to the AFC Championship, to keep on advancing, got to be way worse than being a team that just loses all the time.
Well, it both stink. Now, Ryan Strong on Facebook. What up, Ryan? Ryan Strong says it's worse getting to the big dance and leaving with no hardware.
Yeah.
As far as that's concerned. And again, it's just the intensity of the feelings, the intensity of the emotions in your teams in the playoffs. Those playoff losses hurt more than the 9 to 10 combined losses of the regular season that ultimately keep you out of the postseason when it's all said and done. Let's see. Where'd it go? Alex Early says fan base that goes to the playoffs because there's always hope and an expectation. Lions fans and Bengals fans are both in the same boat. Even Bills fans currently, as a Bengals fan, playoffs should be the bottom line every single season. So that's the expectation. But yeah, my point was, who has it worse? Because there's the most suffering fan bases out there. It's always like the Browns, and then some say the Bills. And they had an argument the other day with Mad Dog about that, about how can you put the Bills at the top of the list whenever I think he had the Browns, or I can't remember who he had, but it was one of those two teams. But it was basically two different reasons, but ultimately the same. Yes, it stinks every year not having a chance to make the playoffs. If the Bills get there every year, and every year, got to be quicker than that. It's like that commercial, that Geico commercial, where they pull that you're so close to getting the dollar, and you miss out on it.
I mean, like I said, thinking about their history, I mean, they went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, and they didn't get it done. And now you have this version of the team that can't even make it to the AFC Championship game.
It's a Kenner and Kev Show here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Did you know gas goes bad in as little as 30 days? Bad gas can cause rough starts, poor performance, or no starts at all. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Whether it's your car, truck, boat, lawnmower, leaf blower, weed trimmer, ATV, motorcycle, or anything else with an engine, when you store, start with Stable.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
Looking for sweet heat that's hard to beat? Head to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and try the Hot Honey Chicken Sandwich, here for a limited time. This all-new sandwich features our famous hand-breaded, pressure-cooked chicken breast covered in Mike's Hot Honey on a brioche bun. It's the chicken sandwich made sweeter and spicier. Discover the craveable flavor that can only happen when Mike's Hot Honey meets Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Pick up an irresistible Hot Honey Chicken Sandwich today. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Cordell Transportation has more advantages than ever before, including brand new equipment. That's right, plus excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply now at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Urology Specialists of Ohio are here for you. Men, your good health is important to them. Their knowledge of specific male anatomy, prostate issues, and how to help in your healing is their main focus. Urology Specialists of Ohio are now accepting new patients at all locations: Beaver Creek, Springfield, Urbana, Xenia, and London. They have been in practice for over 20 years with over 80 years of experience between 5 physicians. Call today. They can schedule your appointment in a timely manner with little wait time. Online at urologyspecialistofohio.com.
Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Hour number 2. It is the Kenner and Kev Show right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. A lot of NFL playoff talk, of course, in that first hour of the show. We threw out which is tougher, being a fan of a team that never wins consistently, that rarely makes the playoffs, or is it tougher to be a fan of a team that makes the playoffs pretty much every year, but you have to feel that intense pain constantly of them being knocked out? Like, a lot of fans are numb to their team being bad. Like, that's why the Lions fans, they are feeling this pure joy, because I've never felt this before. At least they haven't felt it in decades and decades and decades. It's like the Bengals 2 years ago. If we beat the Raiders, it's just a cherry on top. We're just happy to be back in the playoffs with our star quarterback, Joe. Oh, we beat the Raiders? Well, we ended our 30-plus years, winless drought in the playoffs. Man, if we beat the Titans, that's just a cherry on top. Oh, we beat the Titans. Well, now we might as well, but that you knew that next loss was going to be so painful. But now every loss is painful because you expect to be there, and unless you're hoisting up that trophy, that's an intense pain. The Browns fans, it sucked that we lost to the Texans, and I was ticked off about it, but I'm like, you can say I was making an excuse. Just ring the bell just in case so I don't get interrupted with the bell. No offensive line, no run game, no backup quarterback. It was Joe freaking Flacco, man.
Oh,
so it
he's
wasn't
turned his back on him.
It wasn't. He's no longer. He was Joe Burr. He went cold in the playoffs as far as that's concerned.
Turned your back on him. Here's some other news. I know we got people online. Just want to get this out here. Former Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud, might have heard of him.
Oh, did he finally beat a Harbaugh?
No, he's done something even better. He's donated to Ohio State's collective, the foundation. He's donated. Don't know how they come up with this number, between $50,000 and $100,000 to Ohio State's collective, the foundation. He's the first former player to partner with the organization.
So he is helping beat a Harbaugh. I like it.
Coleridge Bernard Stroud the fourth.
People are so angry at Ohio State right now.
Get mad, bruh.
Yeah.
What they mad for? Now, just because we Ohio State?
It's the same thing. And here's the thing, Buckeye fans. We can't be hypocrites. Most of us. Now, to be fair, I don't remember how I felt about the Texas A&M thing 2 years ago. I don't think it bothered me that they were buying their way to that time, because I'm like, that's the modern college athletic landscape. Like, those who are complaining, our team does it the right way, that's how you end up like Clemson. So I just think that if a lot of Buckeye fans, though, were ripping Texas A&M years ago when they were doing this. So, I remember I'm the hypocrite police. I'm just throwing it out there, the hypocrisy police. But this is what you got to do. And this is like why, and we talked about this, Ohio State a little late to the game.
Yeah.
But you know what? They were late to the game, but then they showed up in style. Oh yeah, they're letting everyone. You always have that friend. I'm probably that friend for most people. Hey, I'm on my way. And my friend Brad always texts me, "Oh, did you get lost?" Because I'm on my way, and then I never end up where I say I'm going to be. Then you're shaking your head because I think I probably do that to you. Yeah, hey, I'll be in at 9 so we can knock out some stuff, and it's usually 9.
I got 2 hours. Don't worry.
It's like I'm at 9 after 2 hours later, but. But yeah, that's Ohio State, but they come in style, I don't know if I come in style, but I'm just saying, like, Ohio State, good for them. Good for them. Well, yeah. So.
Now, let's be real. Like, I'm sure this is some type of also tax write-off for young Stroud, but I don't care. If this is going to help us continue to be the elite program, I'm all for it. This man is a saint. Who, CJ?
Yes,
this kid is a saint, man. Thank you, CJ.
Mm-hmm. Not bad. Keep it rolling as far as that's concerned.
Marv, you're next.
So 518-1410. Yeah, no kidding. Actually, I would rather him trade in a game check for maybe one more season, but nonetheless, I knew he wasn't going to come back. I was gullible enough to believe that he might. Let's go to Ben. Ben, thanks for holding.
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Couple things. One, in terms of the which would be worse. I mean, for me, I think as a Bengals fan, and it would be getting there and losing. maybe even not getting there. But I would say getting there and just not going very far, or getting to the AFC Championship and then losing there. That would be worse to me. Second of all, the point you were making with the whole Burrow and Mahomes and all that.
Yep.
The only point I would say is that isn't that more impressive that he's done it in less time than Josh Allen? And I didn't think Josh Allen played all that great anyway in this last game. I mean, he did good, but like you guys said, he missed a lot of receivers. He overthrew. They were dropping balls. As a team, they didn't look all that solid. So I'm not sure. To me, that seems like that would be more impressive if you've done it in less time than you've done it in their longevity as they have.
I don't think it's – I think the point about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning was how many times they ran into each other in the playoffs. And that was my point. I'm not saying Joe Burrow is not them. I'm just saying that he hasn't been around long enough for that to be viewed that way. He's missed the playoffs in 50% of the seasons that he's been around. Yes, because of injuries. But my point is, the other two, they've played 40 more games than Joe Burrow has. They've been around a little bit longer. I think the Bengals are going to be a playoff contender every single season with Joe Burrow. So I think that this is a narrative that will exist here within the next 2 years. And maybe even in the next year if they get back and cross paths again, and they will play in the regular season. But I think the only reason that Allen and Mahomes, that narrative has taken off, Ben, is just because they've played so many times already. I mean, they've only played Joe Burrow and Mahomes. They've only played 4 times.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying is in less time, if you're doing what you're going to do in less times, that's more impressive to me than even if you play each other, let's say 10 times and maybe you win 1 versus another person who plays maybe 5 times and wins 3. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. Yeah. That to me, that equals out a little more the other way than that. And that's the only thing I'm saying. I'm not saying that, hey, I don't think it's fair or whatever. It is what it is. That's just how it goes. But I just think it's a little more impressive if you can do it in less time.
Can I ask, and I'm not being a smartass here, but when you say do what in less time, you say do it in less time. What are we doing? What is he doing in less time? I guess is what I'm asking.
Super Bowl.
Well, playing him one-on-one, team on team, I should say. It's not really one-on-one.
You're good. But, I picture them playing basketball.
yeah. But playing as many times as they have between the two of them, and I guess record-wise would show that one's done it better and less than one's done it and more, hasn't done it in more.
Yeah, but keep in mind though, it's about the playoffs. They've only played each other twice in the playoffs, and it's 1-1. And when Patrick Mahomes beat Burrow, he goes on to win a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow didn't. But again, you're not wrong. I'm just saying, and I'm not really disagreeing with this. I'm just saying they just need more games under their belt. It's about the regular season too, but the reason that they kept saying it was Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, that aura of those two happened not because of the regular season matchups. It's because of how many times they played in the postseason. So, but you're not wrong, and it's trending in that direction from my perspective. So,
no, I got what you're saying. It's all good. It's interesting how they say that. I think, and that whole narrative that they throw out there either way, I don't think that's fair to these guys. It's just they're a new group, and I know what they're doing. It's for selling the product and all that. I get it, but it's like I don't think that's very fair to do that to these guys. Just let them cement their own legacies. And what is what was, and what is now,
But would you be saying that if Joe Burrow was being compared to their legacy, you
absolutely.
And by the way, I think Patrick Mahomes beats Joe Burrow one-on-one in basketball too. Just want to throw that out. Joe Burrow has that bum leg and that bum arm or whatever.
Well,
no, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, well, he just shoot it from outside.
Yeah, he's Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow was all-state in basketball, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are all good. I love your show. You're doing a great job. I appreciate you. I just thought I'd call and throw that out there.
Hey, thank you, Ben, but you're not doing it right. You're supposed to yell at me. You're supposed to, Kev's supposed to give me the look like, hey, cool it, all that. But no. Hey, Ben, appreciate. Where are you calling from? What part of Dayton are you calling from?
I actually live in Xenia.
In Xenia. All right. Good stuff. Hey, man, Ben, appreciate you, man. Call anytime.
Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.
518-1410. I just knew. I didn't even have to check social media last night, and I knew Bengals fans were going to be upset. Oh, how soon we forget. And I'm like, it's trending that direction, but they've played twice in the playoffs. Twice, that's it. Plus, Joe Burrow's been around for 4 years. It's only been in the postseason twice. Those other guys, 40 more games than them. But is what it is at this point, nonetheless. All right, let's switch gears here. Let's talk a little college basketball. So did you watch the women's game yesterday?
Yes.
Ohio State welcoming in Iowa.
I did. I watched it on the iPad while I was watching other stuff.
See, I knew the shot was a basketball arena. You just need Caitlin Clark to come to the dang arena every single season. So
packed. Everybody was there. The entire football team was there. Mara was on the sidelines. It was deep, very deep. Great game.
So the thing is as wild of a game it was, I mean, Cody McMahon, again, local star for Ohio State, had a massive game, helped lead Ohio State to an upset win. I mean, they're a top 25 team. Ohio State's really good. They were really good last year, deep run into the postseason. Is it an upset? Technically.
Right.
But they're one of the top teams in the country. But they took care of business. They had a huge crowd on hand. But no one's talking about the game right now. Everyone's talking about what happened after. And I've said this for a long time, and people always say, oh, Kenner doing the get off my lawn stuff and all this. All right. I remember back when baseball first started suggesting putting the nets up the first and third base side. Kept seeing older ladies and older gentlemen getting blasted with 1,000-mile-per-hour balls, foul tipped off a bat. Little kids, a couple fatalities. And I kept saying, how many more of these have to happen before you just use common sense and put some kind of barrier up to protect your fans who are spending? I mean, you shouldn't have a family night out at the ballpark and have to worry about, are we going to all come, or are we going to bring the whole family home? Sounds dramatic. Not for those families that lost somebody. Or, my very first baseball game ever. I remember this. My very first baseball game ever. My dad had taken me. It was the Cincinnati Reds, and I don't even remember who they were playing, but I wanted to see Ken Griffey, so bad. I was a huge Ken Griffey fan. Of course, Ken Griffey didn't, he wasn't in the lineup that game, but he did come in to pinch hit, and I got to see him strike out, baby. But Ken Griffey, before striking out, foul tipped one, and I watched it. I looked over in horror as a little kid watching this guy get blasted in the head. An old man, I was like picturing like going to a game with my grandpa and just seeing him just with blood gushing down his head, getting blasted with the ball. And I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Oh, it's like getting shot at. I mean, what are we doing here, right? And I remember people in this city lost their mind and threw temper tantrums when the minor leagues put the nets up, the first and third base. I'm not going to a game. This is, obstructing my view. And I kept saying, you guys are wild. Go to Ticketmaster or wherever. I know the Dragons are always sold out. Go to the Dragons and look at that, and look at behind home plate. That's the only area that is covered by a net, and those are the most expensive tickets. Trust me, those tickets are in demand, even with the big old net in front of them. And to be honest, I think people appreciate being able to eat their nachos without catching a foul ball to the chin. So ultimately, it finally took a couple fatalities. It took a couple people getting blasted with the ball, but they finally put the nets up and down. And I kept saying it should not have to take something horrific happening before you make a decision to protect the fans, to protect the athletes, to protect everyone involved. I hate storming the court. I hate when fans do it. I hate it. Sometimes fans don't do it correctly. Sometimes you'll have two Big Ten teams go up against one another and you storm the floor. And I'm like, you should expect to beat teams in your conference. You shouldn't be storming the floor. You shouldn't be storming the field in college football, the NFL. He was, Kenner, you just, you want the fans to have a memorable experience. The Lions hadn't watched their team in the postseason in how long? They hadn't watched their team host a postseason game ever at that field. They didn't storm the field the last 2 weeks. Do you think that they're robbed of any kind of emotional experience? No, they're all just super pumped, super jacked, super happy. I say this because it is going to take something horrific happening before they finally take this serious and stop letting fans rush the floor. I think it's insane. And we had our first situation yesterday where something bad enough almost happened to where it might get people's attention and stop this from happening. Caitlin Clark nearly was run over. A little bit of a LeBron flop on the contact, but that's besides the point. The point is I'm glad she wasn't hurt. I'm glad that if she did flop, that she did make it look worse than what it was, because if it wasn't and she was being helped off the floor and had a season-ending injury after being the biggest college basketball star out there, men or women, for that to be how her season or career gets altered because of a fan storming the floor after a big win, I have a huge problem with that. I don't like that. Kev, here is Caitlin Clark in the postgame talking about what went down and her reaction.
Obviously I can see they're storming the court, which is fine. And good for their students, great win for them. And I was just trying to exit the court as quickly as possible. So I started running, and I was absolutely just hammered by somebody trying to run onto the court and basically blindsided and, kind of scary. Could have caused a pretty serious injury to me and knocked the wind out of me. But luckily my teammates kind of picked me up and got me off the court. So, and their AD already came and apologized to me. So I really appreciate that. And, this is what comes with the territory. I mean, I'm sure they tried their best to do whatever they could. Obviously it didn't work, and that's disappointing, but, just focus now on the game and, ways we can get better.
So like her comments in the post game, all this, that, and the other. I want to focus on that game in a second, but just your overall takeaways. Where are you at with where I'm coming from this? I think that the more this happens, the emotions in a game, if they had lost on a buzzer beater and fans are running up to her and she's pissed and she pushes someone away, now she looks like the villain. She looks like the bad person. Let's say a fan who's been taunting her or any player in any sport. There was the player from Pitt who stood up on the side rail at Cameron and was basically saying, bring it to me at all the Cameron crazies or whatever, and they're all flipping him off and stuff. What if those guys come and attack him because of that? Point is I just think they need to limit these types of things. I don't think rushing the floor. That was a big win. There would have been an emotional reaction with that win, whether they stormed the floor or not. It shouldn't happen. Get off my lawn.
It's a college thing because it doesn't happen in NBA. It doesn't happen in NFL. It only happens in college. That's the only place it happens. And no, fans should never be on the field of play, ever. Now, stopping them is a whole different discussion because there's sometimes 100,000 people and then maybe like 15 security guards. So like you do the math. I'm not sure you can stop 100,000 people from getting on the field without taser guns. So my whole thing is this isn't the first time. This won't be the last time. I remember during the college football season after USC lost. I can't remember who they lost to, but it was a close game on the road and the fans rushed the field and somebody jumps up in Caleb Williams' face. Now, Caleb Williams is 6'2", 250 pounds. Like you said, what if, the fan does a little something extra, puts his hands on Caleb Williams, and then Caleb Williams decides to defend himself and knock the fan completely out because that's what will happen. Caleb Williams is in the wrong. Caleb Williams is the one that's going to be all over SportsCenter and all over not just SportsCenter, but regular news is saying, oh, crazy football player, Dex fan for rushing on the field. What did he say to you? You got to control yourself. His draft stock falls because of a fan being on the field. Fans, you can cheer and boo. That is the only thing you can do. We talked about it last week about the fans throwing popcorn on the Philadelphia Eagles coach. We talked about how the fans from the Buffalo Bills were throwing snowballs at the Pittsburgh Steelers players as the game was going on. They were still throwing snowballs at the Kansas City Chiefs players as the game was going on. Fans can cheer and boo. That is what you pay your ticket for. You do not pay a ticket to come on the floor. And guess what? Normally, when you get a crazy drunk fan that rushes the field, that's what the fans been dreaming of. I remember when I forget who it was. It was an Ohio State game, and a drunk fan was running on the field, and it was a free lick. A former player that was on the coaching staff for the Buckeyes.
It's Anthony Schlegel.
Yes.
My guy. He's cool.
Yes. Dropped him. And guess what? You deserve it. Fans, stay off the field of play.
It was pretty intense, too, the way he dropped him.
Hey, man, stay off the field of play, man. Cheer and boo. That is all you can do. And that is all you should do. Shouldn't throw things at people from the stands, from snowballs to batteries or whatever. Cheer and boo and stay off the field of play.
To your point about, and by the way, like, yes, it's, some security, a little outnumbered, but Final Fours, NCAA tournaments, they never have. I mean, in college arenas, college games,
those people are packing.
So they get people that are packing here. Look, but so my point to all this, it's going to take a Caitlin Clark. It's going to take someone getting trampled, and it doesn't even have to be an athlete. I think it's dangerous no matter what. Yeah. It could happen at a college football game where those scenes get a little bit even more rowdy. I mean, a former coworker of ours, I remember he missed a lot. I mean, he ended up retiring because of the health complications. One of my favorite people ever, but like, he was at the Ohio State-Michigan game back before the cheating scandal began that led to the
back when he used to win.
And, he was an older guy, so he struggled getting down the steps as people are rushing down to get down to the field to storm the field. And he fell and he tumbled down. I mean, he was sitting up in CDAC, and I mean, he told the story. He rolled and rolled and rolled, and it was because people had bumped past him to get down. I'm like, people are rushing from CDAC trying to get down so they can hurry up and get down there to be on the field to, celebrate with Ohio State. So I say this because it's going to take someone on the field getting trampled and severe injuries or whatever, or coaches or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. We made such a big deal about Ron Artest leaving the floor to the stands, but the fans can come onto the floor. To be fair, they can't, but they can because, it's a great scene and it's good exposure for the schools. And, that's why they take the fine too. Some conferences fine you, right?
Yeah. The SEC fines you. That big fine that Tennessee got last year when they beat Alabama. They rushed the field and took the goalpost. I mean, it's going to come to a point where the TV networks are going to have to cut away from showing it on TV, because that's part of what it's about. Yeah, it's a part about celebrating and it being an intense moment, but it's also about being seen on TV. And that's about the drunk people that run on the field. You notice they don't show those people anymore. But I mean, it looks awesome on TV. Obviously, you don't want to do that because somebody could get hurt. I've rushed the field before at Ohio State game. I rushed the court at a Wright State game as well. It's a great time. Didn't get hurt, thank goodness. But stay off the field to play, people.
Now, to be clear,
have you ever done it?
I would do it. That's not
hypocrite.
I'm saying it's up to these schools to make sure you don't. That's all. If they have to get guys that are packing, then so be it. But protect your face. But like the thing is, it's just like I said, it was like the baseball analogy earlier. How many people had to get hit and the fatalities and everything, getting blasted with the foul tip ball before they finally said maybe we should put it in it's just a outlier. That little girl should have been sitting there. No. That's wild to me. But nonetheless, let's see. Some of these are coming in. Brian Schwederman says, electric fence around the playing field activated after the game is over. Much more interesting post-game coverage, I promise you.
Trying to hop over the gate.
Yeah, I'm for that. Whoops, didn't mean to hit that. Fumble. Let's go to the phones. We got Robert. Robert, you still there? Thanks for holding.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to share a quick story with you on topic here.
Yep.
I'm sorry I can't remember when they were playing, but Wright State was well over 30 years ago, and I believe
probably
player
Michigan
injured
State.
Was
but anyways, keep going.
No, it was a conference tournament, and when they wanted to punch the ticket for their first NCAA appearance, and I was one of the ones on the court, and I believe the kid hurt was the McGuire, the local kid from CJ, and it was a god awful thing. Like, we was really close, my friends and I, to rush the court. They carted him off and everything, neck brace, It was almost really, really bad for him.
Huh. I do. Yeah, that's and see, it's like it takes situations like, and I guarantee you the security protocol a lot different for when you get those packed games like that and stuff too. Look, UD, they put 13,000 in that arena every single night, whether they're playing a good team or a bad team. But I'm not saying they've never rushed the floor. I just can't recall of a game. I mean, I remember those VCU games from years ago with Archie where they won the A-10 title. No one rushed the floor for those. So I don't know. Interesting nonetheless. But yes, it's going to take something horrific happening before athletic directors, across and even conferences really kind of, hammer down on this. So we'll see. It was Butler. Matt Sturgeon just said it was Butler, by the way.
Okay. And the reason why I don't think it happens at UD very much, well, I don't know if it's happened the Xavier game one year, but most of Dayton security guards here at UD Arena are either active or retired police officers. So they control them a little differently than some arenas, not just speaking on the Nutter Center, when you got some 65 or 70-year-old lady is going to have a hard time keeping a 20-year-old drunk kid off.
That's true. Because if I'm hammered and I see that, what's stopping me from getting on that floor is old Betsy over here. Oh no, I'm getting on the floor now. It just made it sound like I'm going to tackle old poor Betsy over here. But don't worry, Betsy, move. I'm good.
Dead leg moves going right and left. Gotcha. I'm on the court.
Oh yeah, Robert, you the man. Appreciate the call.
Yes, sir.
All right, 518-1410. But by the way, they'll still rush the floor. They'll still, they'll rush the field and all that. But overall, hell of a game. Caitlin Clark had a big game. So that was a huge win for college basketball in general, women's college basketball, obviously too. But pretty neat scene over there.
Yeah, the her getting bumped and that took away from the actual game because that should be the talking point. I mean, especially on our show. I mean, we have Centerville's own Cody McMahon dropping 35 and grabbing 12 rebounds. That should be.
She couldn't drop 45. Caitlin Clark did 45. She could only do 35.
Her team won.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. But it was a flop. I thought it was LeBron out there, to be honest with you.
Man, that was.
She said I was blindsided.
That was a D Wade flop. That was a D Wade flop. Like, people like wreck LeBron for flopping because he does. He flops. But like, people forget LeBron never flopped before he went to Miami. When he went to Miami and learned the ways of the Heat culture and D Wade, that's when he started flopping. Go look at the first 7 years of LeBron's career. Never flopped. He went to Miami. He started flopping. Oh man, I'm paper thin. I can't do anything out here. That's when he started flopping.
I have no problem with people who do that, by the way.
It's terrible.
Well,
James Harden.
How old were you when you first started playing basketball?
Probably like about 5.
Okay. How old were you when you had your first practice where the coach did drills where they taught you how to take a charge?
Probably about 7.
And they taught you how to fall.
I mean, I was falling already,
but they
didn't have to teach me how to do that.
I'm just saying, like, a charge is technically a flop. Technically,
you gotta take it.
Technically, I mean, I'm just saying, if you're standing your ground and you just get the bump in the chest and fall backwards, that's going to be a charge. But did that person actually knock you backwards? That's still a flop. That's why I'm like, same thing with the hard count in football. Trying to get them to jump off side. Like, hey, that's not we're not actually snapping the ball. I'm just saying, it plays with the rules. Draw contact. Boo! Draw contact, man. I have no problem with it.
That is why when you get flopped now, you get a technical foul.
So just saying, by the way, I am laughing at this. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to anyways. Let's see. Matt Sturgeon says, there's no way that UD fans would be on the floor.
Oh, boy.
I mean, to be honest, they rush the opposite direction. They're an older fan base. I mean, to be honest, they hog the season tickets down in the lower bowl. As great of an atmosphere as it is, if you let the younger people down low instead of hogging the tickets, let the people that actually they're the ones that say, sit down, stop being happy, stop cheering, brother Flyers, cheer in your seat. Is that do you think that's how I'm going to sound when I'm old?
Probably. Let's hope so.
My gosh, this game going to start at 6:58. Those students are too loud. Anyways, but yes, Matt, I'm with you. They're not rushing the floor. They're rushing to get to their car because of traffic. Anyways.
One way in, one way out.
Yes. Doug Toby said for UD to rush the courts, half the people would be in walkers.
Gosh.
Johnny Ortiz says facts, way too many broken. You would think it was a halftime contest, a race to like. Anyways, Ryan Roth says sounding crotchety, kidder. It's a weird word. But I don't know. The get off my lawn guy. I'm old enough to be a season ticket holder. Almost. But anyways. All right. We brought up Dayton. Dayton had the Archie Miller game. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. How many of you were at the arena for the return of Archie Miller? Big weekend for college basketball in the Miami Valley. Not just in Miami Valley, just within an hour, 2-hour radius. I mean, Cincinnati got a huge win the other night. They're playing at Kansas tonight. They're kind of getting implemented into their, the Power 5. They're in the Big 12 schedule. I mean, it is pretty cool seeing those bigger name schools head to Cincinnati to play too. So I think in football, was it Oklahoma that played there this year? Now you're seeing it with the basketball side. But Ohio State getting the big win over the Iowa women, number 2 team in the country, Caitlin Clark. Wright State got the big win on Saturday. That was their biggest crowd of the season too on Saturday. That was huge because the season felt a little bleak after losing to Green Bay last Thursday. So it was nice kind of getting that one back. But let's talk about Archie Miller's return. I didn't know people got so angry at me for that take. I didn't think it was a hot take. Hey, don't boo the coach that led you to all that NCAA tournament success, but nonetheless, his return had happened. Sean Miller was in attendance, by the way.
Everybody.
Boo him. You can boo him.
Boo!
Boo! We'll be right back. Who was at the game? What'd you guys think? How many did you guys hear? A lot of boos. The report I got was there was a lot of the students there was a lot of classy folk. With what? They called his name? Couldn't hear it.
Oh.
We'll be right back. It's the Kenner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Forecast has the winter weather advisory for tonight, starting at 8 until noon tomorrow. Rain and freezing rain at 32 tonight. Freezing rain and rain tomorrow with patchy fog and 41. Rain and fog and 52 on Wednesday. I'm Rick Shrimp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hungry for a great time? Maybe some great food? Then come on down to your neighborhood Submarine House. Try our oven-toasted deli subs, our mouth-watering salads, pizzas, appetizers, and more. And wash them down with a unique selection of craft beers while watching the big game on our big screens. With locations around Dayton, in Columbus, and our newest sports bar in Kettering, you're never far from a Submarine House. Subs, sports, spirits. Submarine House.
Have you heard? Bath Creations has moved to their new location and showroom at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton. This gives you even more opportunity to see the incredible amenities and craftsmanship Bath Creation offers. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful, modern bathroom that is safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton or online at mybathcreations.com and get a new bath today.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The Home Depot makes it easy to shop and save on appliances in-store and online. Enjoy savings on top brands like GE, LG, Frigidaire, Whirlpool, and more. Find kitchen appliances with helpful features like customized organization and save time with laundry appliances that have faster wash and dry cycles. Final days to get up to $450 off select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid January 4 through 24. Gas ranges and dryers extra. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
You don't need a job site. You need a hiring platform. Indeed lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from one place. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast. With a buck here, a buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Dayton area attorneys. 2689 Commons Boulevard, Suite 100, Beaver Creek, Ohio, 45431.
And we are back. It's the Kenner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio 1410 Wing AM. Talking a little college basketball now, of course. Dayton, 96-62 over the Archie Miller-led Rhode Island Rams.
Take that.
Boo! So we had the debate last week about whether or not, fans should boo Archie. And I don't get what purpose of booing him is, just because go to a lot of games, they always announce the name of the coach. And I'm not saying anybody cheers, but no one boos. So if you don't boo, like every game you go to, no one boos the opposing coach. So if you can make it through games without booing the opposing coach, that's a choice. You chose not to, which means you could choose to cheer. And if you don't want to cheer, then just don't make a noise at all. But like choosing to boo a guy that put UD back on the map, that set them up with those tournament runs with all that money. I mean, as if they were just, so low on funds, but I'm just saying, like Dayton's where they're at. Yes, because the job that Anthony Grant has done, the ebbs and the flows, of course, but it's because of what Archie did as well. So there's that. But nonetheless, there was more cheers than boos. The student section booed, but, start a little early, go to the arena. You've been told, hey, this dude used to coach here, but he abandoned you. There's a lot of abandonment issues that some of these fans on this page. I mean, Jody Van Winkle, love Jody, but he is bringing up all the abandonment stuff. Like, oh, that's what happens if you abandon us. Abandonment is a terrible thing. My gosh. Boo! Need a hug, dude? Like, what's wrong, man? Like, Archie did. The only thing Archie owed you is what he gave you. Tournament success. Well, that's all. But no, this idea that cheering him was, we like Archie more than AG. Cheering him was just that, cheering him. And the thing is, too, and I can't remember who it was. I saw some good points on the page about, look, Anthony Grant is a Dayton alum. So I guarantee you he appreciates everything Archie did before. From when he was with OKC in the G League, an assistant coach with Donovan over there, he was loving every dang bit of what was happening. And, of course, he was with Alabama and VCU and stops like that before, wherever he was. I can't remember where he was at that time. It doesn't matter. But the bottom line is as a UD alum, trust me, he appreciated what Archie did. But, look, came and caught. Bottom line is Archie got his ass kicked. You see the fact that he stepped foot out onto the floor, like not just like a couple feet on the floor like he was. Was it Brea? I don't know who was shooting, but there's a shot. I think Jablonski posted it. I mean, he is like right there, high hands, defending, the shot. And the people dramatic. He needs ejected. I think he needed a technical. But yeah, I've noticed a lot more coaches being on the floor a lot more than usual.
Dude.
It's not a new rule. It's not a new rule.
Like they have the coach's box. Yeah. And they never stay in the box. They, we always hear the term get back coach in football. They need one in basketball too. Like I've seen even Coach Nagy like outside of the coach's box, and some of the coaches are like trying to grab him to get him back inside, the coach's box and everything like that. But yeah, coaches are basically at half court now, like as an extra defender out there. Like, hey,
trapping the corners, dude. It's a great idea. I mean,
6-man defense,
but
swing it to the shooter.
But yeah, so it happened in the previous game too against St. Louis. So like it happened in that game too, where everyone was ripping their coach because he kept stepping too far out on the floor. And it always seems to be at the time where UD is pushing the break to get a shot in transition. And it's like, I appreciate you for trying, but to be honest, look, they lost 96-62. I think Archie could have been the sixth defender out there. I don't think it would have made a whole lot of a difference, to be honest. So
showtime.
I mean, to be fair, Brea did miss that shot. So
good defense.
There's that. They didn't look very good against St. Louis the game before. There's one UD fan. His name is John. And
hi, John.
I want to block him on Facebook so bad. He drives me up the wall. He's a good dude, but he drives me up the wall. He has to remind me every time Dayton does anything good. He has to let me know. And if Wright State struggles with something, he has to let me know that too. All right, so he has to let me know. But, I decided I have time tonight.
Oh, boy.
I was like, it's a top 25 team struggling with an 8-8 team. Oh, man, that doesn't look very top 25-ish to me. So I'm just, and then hook, line, and sinker. It worked. He's blowing up my messages the entire night. I mean, losing his mind. Okay, losing his mind. Well, I had nothing to say about this win. To be fair, though, I do think parity in college basketball, the gap is closed between what the expectation of top 25 teams should do to non-top 25 teams. I do believe that gap has been closed. But back in the day, and even 10 years ago, if you're a top 25 team and you're playing a team that doesn't have a number in front, you better win by at least 20. If you're not winning by at least 20, it's not a good night at the office or whatever. I was, giving them crap about that the other day. But the bottom line is that 96-62, I don't expect you to put 90 up every night. I don't expect you to win by 30 every game. But that's what, and Rhode Island was not playing bad basketball heading into that Archie had him playing decent basketball again. That looks like a team that was number 21 in the country playing a 9-9 team. That's how you should look at that win right there. Propelled them all the way up to number 16 today when the rankings came out.
Yeah, so. And you guys also think about this. Like, I don't necessarily not teams that are ranked that lose to a non-ranked team, especially like on the road and stuff like that, because if Duke comes to town, they're going to be crazy. If it's a night game or whatever, like the fan base is going to be enthused, and so are the players. I think you can chalk the lax performance in the previous game kind of trap game looking ahead, because they know what's on tap. They know who's coming to the arena, who's coming back to the arena for the very first time. They may have been in high school or middle school when Archie was coaching here, but they know, they've heard about Archie because the fan base has told them, like, yeah, when Archie was here, this, Archie was here, that, Archie was there. They listen to the show. They know. So like, okay, we're going to show you what this team is all about. And they sure did, 96-62.
I'm going to show you the second good team in 7 years. We're going to show you, But I've never seen a coaching run like AG's before. Average to good, more years than not. And then these 2 elite years. It doesn't make any sense. The season's not done. They could stub their toe a few times and things even out, but they're going to go to the tournament this year unless something horrific happens. And, but the bottom line is, like, again, put a lot of players in the league. That's fine. But as a fan, I'd rather be a fan of a team that's not putting any players in the league and getting to the tournament, consistently than the other way around. However, I do like cake and I like to eat it too. So get to the tournament, put dudes in the league, and then that snowball effect will just keep going. Look, I don't think people say, you hate on Dayton. I don't hate on Dayton. I just point out the fact that they have an NBA arena. I point out the fact that they have all this money coming in. They have resources galore. They have an NBA coach. You had Obi Toppin. You had the number 2 team in the country. You have all these things. There's no excuse to not make the tournament. So the fact that only if I give them 2020, which is not that I'm not giving it to them, but there was no tournament that year, but fine. They would have played in the tournament that year. That's still one NCAA tournament appearance in 6 years. I did not go to Dayton. I went to Wright State. My allegiance leans over there, of course, but I don't think I'm a hater for pointing out that I have higher expectations for your program than most of you do when it's their athletic director that said our expectation is to be an NCAA tournament team. So if you don't make the NCAA tournament, that means you didn't live up to expectations. I do that with the Reds. There's a reason at Reds Fest, I asked their general manager, okay, you spent some money this year. You're expected to be good. The expectation for the Reds is what this year? And he looked at me, didn't even think about it, said to win the division. So if they don't win the NL Central, you didn't succeed this year. Now, they could still make the playoffs, and I'll be happy with that. But if they don't make the playoffs this year, it was a failure of a season. I'm not hating. I do that with the Reds. I do that with Ohio State. Ohio State fan thinks I hate my own Ohio State team. I don't. I am the same with everybody. So it is what it is. But yes, I have nothing bad to say about 96-62. That's what a top 25 team looks like. And by the way, Deron Holmes, I'm glad he came back another year. I did not think coming back to Dayton was a good idea. I didn't think, I thought that when you lose, like Amzil, with all the expectations of him coming in. All right, you look at Sherajamps, the expectations of him coming in. All the things that everyone said about this team coming in, they said about last year's team coming in when they were preseason top 25.
Right.
So I said, well, if you lose all the guys that put you in position to have the top 25 expectations to begin with, and you bring in less talented guys, I don't think it was a hot take. Less talented guys based on out of the portal. You got one guy averaging 3 points a game and 2 rebounds, but a lot of it was because lack of opportunity, playing time, and this, that, and the other. I watched Enoch Cheeks play at Robert Morris. Okay. But there's a lot of great guards in the Horizon League. But I'm like, go put them where they have to play good teams every single night, better teams every single night. Will they still put up the same numbers? He's not putting up the same numbers, but he's providing them with a very nice 3-point. I mean, he's just a good guy. He's solid, very solid. That's all UD needs. I'm not admitting I was wrong because there was a lot of UD fans who were down on AG last offseason. There was a lot of UD fans who were very concerned when you lose Mustafa Amza, when you lose Mike Sherry-Thompson, when you lose those guys, all right, and you lose Tumani Kamara. You had Tumani Kamara and Deron Holmes last year. You had 2 NBA guys, and you couldn't even get to the tournament in a one-bid league. I don't think I was that unfair with my analysis of this team heading into this season. But if I'm going to be critical, I got to point out when things are going well. I have nothing to complain about. They've lost 2 games against their last loss was back in November against Houston, who's one of the best teams in the country. And by the way, it was a lot closer game than most. So keep it going. Good for you guys. I'm not here to troll or anything like that, but I'm also not going to be made to feel like I'm crazy for pointing out concerns about a team that was consistently underachieving over the last couple of seasons.
Deron Holmes is going to get all the headlines. He's the superstar of the team. 20 points and 8 rebounds a game. He's worked on the 3-point shot. He's doing things that, quote unquote, the NBA scouts want to see, and he's doing the things that's helping his team win. But he was doing that last year. It's guard play. It is guard play, because he can't do all the cool things that we love to see him do in the paint without the guards doing their job, like hitting shots. But last year, they were not a very good 3-point shooting team. This year, that has turned around. Low turnovers. They're playing at a faster pace. You can't do that when you don't have good guard play. They have very, very good guard play this year from multiple guys out there. So it's allowing him just to do him. He doesn't have to do everything. They don't have to slow everything down. All right, let's not turn the ball over. Let's play at a slow, deliberate pace. Let's get the ball to our big guy. You do your thing at the mid post. You don't have to do that anymore. They can get up and down the court and let his athleticism show. So guard play. Those guys at the guard spots deserve a lot of credit for the way the team is playing, because he's going to do that regardless. He was going to average 19 points a game regardless. Now playing less minutes as well. It's down to 30 minutes a game. Before, he's playing the whole 40 minutes a game. So he's doing what he was doing last year in less time, and it's all because he's getting good play from his teammates.
So, and here was a take that people got mad at me, a lot for, and I'm sticking to it. I'm not happy anyone got hurt. That's never what I'm saying. But I do think the reason that they are playing better is because there's a certain guy not playing the point guard position right now. I do believe that if he wasn't Scoochie's brother, he would not be as popular as what he is. And this isn't a personal shot. I don't like doing but it's the reality of it. When you look at Malachi Smith, what does he do at an elite level? He's not an elite shooter. He's not an elite ball handler. He's not an elite scorer. So when you were a team last year that you had 2 dominant bigs and you had no 3-point shooting, and he was out there, he wasn't out there the full season, but he was out there for pretty much all of A10 play and then got hurt, unfortunately, heading into the tournament. The bottom line is and when he played early this season before getting hurt, it was kind of that slow tempo pace again. With him out, they play faster. You got faster guards. You got more skilled guards. I'm just I do think that they are better when he's not on the floor. And again, that's going to upset some people. Or that's disrespectful to say. Again, you say that. I could say that about any other injured player on the Flyers roster, and it wouldn't be that big a deal. But because his brother is a god at UD, and I love Scoochie, everyone's like, oh, you can't say that. I can. I'm talking about it from a basketball perspective. I'm sure he's a great dude. I don't know him. I'm talking about what I've seen on the floor. I think they are better because he's not running the point and taking a ton of minutes, walking the ball up the floor. Again, in today's basketball, it's all about pushing tempo. It's all about being able to shoot. It's all about being able to score. And that's just not Malachi's game. I think that they are better without him out there at the end of the day.
I would love to see him healthy.
Fair.
I would love to see him healthy. That's what I would say. Obviously, last year he was hurt. This year, whatever surgeries he had didn't take so well, so he never got back to full health. So obviously he's out the rest of the season. Hopefully him being out this year, rehabbing, getting fully healthy, we can see him at his best. Look, I can't sit here and act like I've ever seen him at full strength. Like, I didn't see him in high school. I have no idea what he was like in high school. I've only seen him at UD. And what I have saw from him at UD was a deliberate pace and an injured player. So next year, hopefully he's back to 100% and we can see him at his best.
He's going to be one of them 9-year seniors. That stuff.
Cam McCormick. Yeah.
And by the way, I'm here to tell you guys, if he comes back and is healthy and he's just taking dudes off the dribble, getting into the paint, floaters, and scoring a ton of, I'll eat crow when that time comes. But I don't think I'm wrong for my analysis on that, because I do think that with him off the floor, you got more skilled guards out there, and that's just what it is. So, it is what it is, but they're rolling right now. One thing that came in, let's see, David Shaw. What up, Shaw? Shaw says, I do think the Flyers are taking advantage of a weak A-10. Oh, absolutely. But let's be clear. If you are a great team in a weak conference, you need to look like a great team in a weak conference. So to UD's credit, they look like an elite team in a bad conference. My biggest problem with UD over the years is they always do this. We need to be in the Big East. We need to be here. We need to be there. I'm like, you need to win your own damn conference because you can't even win the A-10. That's always been my biggest problem. You're so good. Like when we talk about these teams, like when Butler was in the Horizon, Butler was way better than the rest of the Horizon. That's why when they left, it made sense. But for up until the last couple of years, VCU's taken a step back. St. Louis isn't as good. Rhode Island has taken a step back. Like Davidson's taken a major step back over the last couple of years. The A-10 is not as strong. Hell, they added Loyola. Loyola hasn't been any good since coming into the league, but that's a team that went to the Final Four not too long ago. Like, it's
Sister Jean.
So to UD's credit, this season, yes, they are taking advantage of a bad conference, but that's what you're supposed to do. My biggest complaint over the years is when the A-10's been bad, they're finishing third, fourth, not winning in the A-10 tournament. Like, that's been my complaint. That's all. And not being a hater, those are just facts, but facts annoy people sometimes, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, if you're taking advantage of a bad league or what's perceived to be a bad league, so what? So what? Like, hey, ain't that what you're supposed to do? Like, if a team has a bad run defense and you're running for 250 yards, oh, you're just taking advantage of them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. If they bring in a true freshman quarterback and you attack him, hey, man, why are you picking on the freshman? Because that's what you do. Oh, we're running a fade route to the true freshman side with Marvin Harrison Jr. Why you keep picking on him? He's
Coaching.
out here. He's out here. It's time to eat. Time to get my stats up.
Yeah. All right, it's the Kenner and Kev Show here on 1410 ESPN Radio. John. I told you about John. Here he is. John Ortez. He says, the problem, Justin, you even criticized the Obi team. Lost to games early in the year, Kansas, and I think Colorado. You don't need to think it was Colorado. On the last second shot in overtime. It's all right. Like, he was upset that season, and I never really said anything bad about that team. I said I don't think that they are going to go as far in the tournament as what many think. I said that they dominated everyone, but the A-10 was bad that year. All right. The only two good teams that they faced that season, they lost to. They played two ranked teams in the country that season. That was it. And they lost to Colorado and they lost to Kansas. Now, because they almost beat Kansas, that was put a banner up. Because they almost beat Colorado, who was ranked at that time, put a banner up. And I'm like, you guys want a lot of credit for almost beating good teams instead of, but that team was undeniably good. I'm not here to say that, but he has been on me for years. It's 2024, Kev, and he's still pissed because I said, well, they only played two good teams that season and lost to both of them. Is that a hot take, Kev, or is those facts?
Fact, though.
See, just saying. It is what it is. But it is. Yeah. Kenner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio. Keith Byars is going to be with us here at the top of the hour.
JB.
But we'll wrap up hour number 2. I see some calls coming in, 518-1410. We'll take your calls to wrap up hour number 2 when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Did you know gas goes bad in as little as 30 days? Bad gas can cause rough starts, poor performance, or no starts at all. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Whether it's your car, truck, boat, lawnmower, leaf blower, weed trimmer, ATV, motorcycle, or anything else with an engine, when you store, start with Stable.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Are you curious about QC Kinetics? Let me tell you what we do.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a medical director at QC Kinetics.
We treat people who have joint pain, and we use your body's healing properties, the things that you already have in you, in your blood, to heal your knee pain, your joint pain, your shoulder pain, your back pain. You have everything that you need in you already.
The same natural process that heals a cut on your finger also works inside your body.
And so what we do at QC Kinetics is take those healing properties, concentrate them down from your body, and put them where they need to go. We are the experts in regenerative medicine. That's all we do.
And best of all, there's no surgery, no downtime, or harmful drugs.
This is the future of medicine.
And your consultation is completely free. Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Hey, let me tell you about the advantages of driving with my friends at Cordell Transportation. First of all, for the new year, they're offering brand new equipment to drive. They purchased new equipment, and not a lot of people could say that, but they've got it, and they're ready to roll with you. Cordell Transportation is offering an incredible $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months. If you're an experienced Class A CDL driver looking for excellent benefits, home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freights, then apply today online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Get a tax refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt now. No refund advance offered by eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Don't miss Kinner and Kev. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. We got the Reds Caravan coming up on Saturday. Speaking of Reds from a little bit ago. But yeah. So David Bell, my good friend David Bell.
Buddies.
That's another one, too. You know, the expectations to win. Better win.
Got to.
I've been fair the last couple of years. I say, hey, not expected. You know, I'm not going to judge. If you give a manager in baseball no talent, I'd sound like a fool to say, I can't believe this manager's not winning baseball games. It doesn't make any sense, you know? But you give a coach NBA talent, you give a coach really good major league talent, I'm going to hold you to a different standard than most. I've always been the do more with less guy. So I'm just saying, and when you have a lot more resources and money and opportunities, all that stuff, you should be doing better. And I think that's a fair thing. All right, so we're on Facebook here on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. Let's see. Johnny Ortez says, conference RPI rankings, A10 8th, Horizon is 23rd. It's always back to that. It's always back to that. What, did I say that the Horizon? So let me ask you, because I think I understand why, because I said how bad the A10 is. The A10 is not good. The A10's it's not good. Like, that's not a hot take. It's going to be a one-bid league this year. The only way it's not a one-bid league this year, Kev, is if UD stumbles in the A10 tournament. history tells us, it doesn't matter who's the coach. It doesn't matter how many NBA guys you have on there. Like I do think in 2020 they were steamrolling teams that year. I believe Obi and them. I think they would have won in Brooklyn. That was that
back home.
Yeah, when Mike Hartsock and David Jablonski and all the media there for the game, and they were in Brooklyn when the whole world shut down, basically.
Crazy.
But wow. But yeah, so pointing out that the Horizon is 23rd, you mean the conference that has significantly less funding than the A-10? I would hope that they're not like. I don't get why we do this, Kev. Why is it we talk about one team? I was going to talk about Wright State here in a few. I wasn't going to talk about both of them together. One has nothing to do with the other, but they always have to combine them. I don't make that up, right? Like that since you've been doing the show for going on 4 years now.
I don't want to get into this.
No, you don't have to get into it, but like it is weird, right? Even when I talk good about Dayton, where's Wright State? The Horizon League. Like drunk Santa. I don't know what you want me to say about that. It is what it is. As far as Wright State's concerned, they haven't lived up to. Look, if we're gonna take shots,
oh gosh,
Wright State was expected to be better than what they've been this year.
Yes. And
it's been frustrating not watch them play to the level that they've been expected to, but that's about as close to being a Flyer fan over the last 7 years as I can remember. Let's be real. But the thing is, they're not competing to be an at-large team at this point. It's all about that couple-day stretch in March.
Right.
We've seen, in 2020, that COVID year, statistically, that might be the best Wright State team that they've ever had. That might be with the Loudon Love and Basile and those guys. That might be the best team that they've ever had statistically. They were blowing everyone out. But because mid-major basketball doesn't matter, I've seen teams in Valpo is in the Horizon League. They won 30 games one year. Didn't even sniff a top 25 vote. Didn't even sniff an at-large bid for the NCAA tournament. I watched a Green Bay Phoenix team. I think they won 29 or 30 games as well. They had a guy named Kiefer Sykes that was one of the best guards in the country. They won 30 games. They didn't make the NCAA tournament. They didn't get an at-large. In fact, that's the year that they lost. They were the most dominant team all season and then had a bad night in a 1-week tournament, and then they don't get, so it all comes down to March. I don't care if Wright State loses the rest of their games. If they just get hot in that right week, which they're not going to lose the rest of their games, but you see my point, right? Like, so I'm talking about, how come you don't talk about Wright State that way? Because they're not playing at the same level that you are. I think we've all acknowledged that. So it is what it is.
Shouts out to Kiefer Sykes. He was with the Pacers a little bit last year.
Yeah, there's been some good guards that have come out. Bryn Forbes is really good. I know he hit some bad times off the floor. We don't have to talk about him because he's a disaster off the floor, but on the floor, he's the one that transferred to Michigan State. Yeah. Was really good, and then he played with the Spurs for a little bit. He got a lot of time with Popovich for a little bit, but he got off the floor issues, and boom, he gone. But we do have the Wright State Coaches Show coming up. Here tonight, 6:00. We'll be out at Modex. In fact, I'm heading out here shortly to get out there. Chris Collins and I, of course, we have Coach Nagy and a couple of the players, but that's at Modex, the Wright State Basketball Coaches Show coming up at 6:00 right here on Dayton's Radio Home of Wright State Basketball, 1410 Wing AM. All right, so Keith Byars is going to come in with us. I think I talked to him earlier today on his show about storming the field and all this stuff. We're talking from fan perspectives. You did it. I never have, but I would. Even at 33, I would. But he's been on the field when fans have rushed it before. So I want to ask him to share what that experience is like. Like, it's a fun experience, but you have to feel, I don't know about you, I would be kind of tense. I'd be like, okay, if it's on your home field, but he's had fans rush the field when he's been at Michigan before. So, or on the road. So that would be kind of nerve wracking, to trust these thousands and thousands of people all running past you. Is one of them going to get a little ballsy and decide to smack you upside the head when they walk? Imagine smacking him upside the head.
Try your luck. See what happens.
Anyways. All right. It's Kidder and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byars. He'll join us in studio next. Hour number 3 coming up.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same. But at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there, here a buck, there a buck, everywhere buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
The Wendy's Biggie Bag comes with your choice of JBC or crispy chicken sandwich, plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink. U.S. price participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
It's a Kenner and Kev Show here on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football Hall of Famer, Mr. Keith Byars with us here in studio. Keith, you can catch his show every Monday, by the way, from noon to 1. The Keith Byars Show presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Keith, first of all, appreciate giving us some time here in studio today. I wanted to open up with this. You know what's wild in sports? It's like we always see things from time to time that we know are dangerous in sports, but it's like these leagues wait to the last minute to implement changes. They wait until something catastrophic happens before they decide to make a change. You know, for a year, forever, that the history of baseball, the fact that there were no nets along the first and third base side, I can't believe they went that long without having protection for the fans in those lower sections. Like, it's so just the norm now when you go to games to sit behind these nets. You don't even realize that they're there, right? But it took how many people getting blasted with these balls, foul tips and everything else before they finally decided that, yeah, we should probably protect the fans. It shouldn't have taken injuries to little kids, to older fans, to any fan. No one should have got hurt going to attend a game, but it happened enough to where they finally decided, you know what? We're going to implement a change. Another change I would like to see in sports, even though some will say, oh, you're just against fun, I can't stand when fans rush the field or rush the court. Not because I think that, it's not because I'm the get off my lawn guy, but it's because someone is seriously going to get hurt. And I feel like they are not going to change this until someone gets catastrophically injured. And we almost saw that yesterday with Caitlin Clark. You know, Ohio State, they're 16 in the country, the women's basketball team. They upset number 2 Iowa. Caitlin Clark has a big performance. The Buckeye fans filled up the Schottenstein Center, and when the game ended, the fans rushed the floor. Well, we're not talking about the upset anymore. We're not talking about Caitlin Clark's great performance.